Deepak, the COVID-19 pandemic is having a devastating impact on the hospitality sector, and it's hit the hotel industry particularly hard. How might the Canadian framework prepare the hospitality, tourism, and travel industry for the long recovery ahead?
Okay, so good afternoon to all of you. I got introduced to Canadian framework when I spoke to you. I accept I didn't know about this, but I found it very interesting. And why I found it very interesting is we started our organization in year 2003, and we were the first person we hired, actually second person we hired was an anthropologist. We call ourselves in a hospitality space, but we always go through evolving consumer journey. Now coming to that how industry has been affected, I don't have to magnify that. We all know how badly we are affected. But why we got affected is what I want to speak. What I liked about Canadian framework was the obvious, complicated, complex, and chaotic. I think what happened with COVID-19 was known. But how did we go to the next framework of Canadian was we made it unknown. How we made it unknown is we never learned from our previous experiences, I would say that. So I'm not saying that, as Dave mentioned, in hindsight, anybody can be a genius. When Ebola happened, all the big data scientists, they were proved wrong. Because when it happened in Sierra Leone, they were tracking the movement of people with the mobile phones. But again, it comes to behavior. People there do not carry mobile phones with them. How it became an epidemic, not a pandemic because it was contained, was at the funerals. So what we did here is we believed in, again, these data, and data again were proved wrong. What it created and what pandemic does, and I will quote Gillian Tatt, who's a Financial Times US editor, what pandemic does is, yes, more than the spread of the disease, it creates a fear in people's mind. And what has happened today is a fear in people's mind. Now the question was, a month back, we were all talking about a lot of restrictions, social distancing, staying at home, locking down the country. As Dave mentioned, that New Zealand Prime Minister did the right thing, though I may have a very different opinion to that. All these things were done keeping in mind the vaccine will come. The question today is, what if we do not get the vaccine? What is the new way of life? The new way of life would be that we have to remove the fear out of people's mind. Like Oscar, who's the United Airlines CEO, he mentioned in one of the Bloomberg interviews, when he was asked, are you going to keep the middle seat empty? And he mentioned that, when we are 70% full, we tell the customers, you want to take any other flight or you want to go in this flight? The customer, he chooses. He didn't say social distancing is must to curb the disease. He said it is the fear which is in people's mind. So I think this fear that we have created, and not many organizations, not many people are talking about it in removing that fear. What has happened also in hospitality industry is how we created more fear. We started firing people. Suddenly a new word for all public sector companies in hospitality, I won't name, has come. We are making our organization more efficient. And what they did was, by making it more efficient, somebody is saying 20% of workforce, somebody is firing 30% of workforce, a shareholder, and they're doing it for the shareholders. They're doing it for their stock prices. A question these shareholders should ask, I've been buying your stock for the last 50 years. Why your organization was not efficient at that point of time, and why suddenly you need a pandemic to come to make this more efficient? We at Labua, we are a small company. We have 1,500 people, and we are almost 3 months into pandemic because we were the second or third country to get that. We were at epidemic at that point of time. So 3 months into COVID-19, we have not even fired a single employee. Our balance sheet is small. We don't have a public who's supporting us because we're not a public listed company. The point is, we want to go back to our customer in luxury space and tell them, that you have to come out of your fear. And how do we go and tell them today to come out of the fear when we ourselves are firing people and creating that fear? So there is one thing which is the social distancing. Now, I won't name the countries, but I will tell you, is the one country which went into a lockdown. They said, we have seen the data. We are going with this data. They had 5,000 cases in that country. They went for a lockdown. Huge country. Now, this country, sadly enough, has got 6,000 cases on daily basis, and they have opened up. So why they have opened up? Because suddenly we were very bullish that the vaccine will come. We are still bullish. I hope the vaccine will come. But the point is, what if the vaccine don't come? I was part of one very famous tourism organization. I'm giving you my personal experience. And they had to do their worldwide conference in a month of April. And I wrote to them in Feb. I spoke to them in Feb. And they said, you know what? This is something which is only in Asia, like SARS, and it's not going to come to this part of the world. I ended up resigning from that organization in month of March, again, protesting that why they are doing huge and large gatherings. So in hospitality space, we have to contain, but we don't have to finish the industry. We don't have to aggravate the fear. We have to go back, and I love this framework. I'm going to go much deeper and nosedive and understand that we need to work with the knowns. And suddenly when what it needs in one sentence, we need the big data scientist, but what it needs is a blend of data with the person-to-person contact.